Before I go into telling the story about Oxford, let me start back in the times when I was your age. I probably knew at that time that I'm going to go into computer science, or at that time it was not as clear because computers were these big things. It was not like the tiny little devices that we carry today. So I'm telling about my age here, I guess. But at that time, computers were fascinating. And I decided I wanted to learn more about them. I wanted to understand how they work. But it was very clear to me that the technology was a means to something bigger. I wanted to do more than just understanding computers. I wanted to actually make an impact using computers to the world. And so I had the opportunity to study here in Linz, computer science. That was a fascinating experience, I have to say. I loved the classes, I loved the technical aspects, math and some of the aspects that were less technical, but some of the kind of how to become experienced in managing teams, how to become experienced in managing organizations, how to experience in managing businesses. So I always had this kind of combination between, on the one side, being a techie, but on the other side, seeing the bigger picture, the opportunities that the techie as a foundation brings and making a bigger impact. And so by the time I also started the company at the same time, I guess I was not busy enough studying. I had the opportunity to start a little company here in the area, and that business was importing computers from Taiwan. That's where a lot of the computers were built at that time. This was in the 80s. And importing those computers and selling them to local businesses and local customers. I was selling those computers, and then suddenly what I saw happening is that a lot of those computers came back, didn't work properly anymore, had some defects, or sounded like they were broken. And customers came back to me and said, hey, you sold me this computer, it doesn't work anymore. But what I very quickly realized then, some of those computers were not broken. They were just infected with computer viruses. And that was probably in the kind of 87, 88 kind of that time frame. That was really the first time we really noticed some pretty serious outbreaks of computer viruses. So if you do history classes, everything goes back to like 13th century, 14th century. In computer security, it's about the last 20, 25 years. And I had this great opportunity to start a second company here in Linz out of the university, and that second company then became part of McAffee. And we had an office here in Linz, and I truly enjoyed Linz. I had no intention whatsoever to actually leave from Linz. I was just very comfortable. Our two girls were just born at the time, and I had absolutely no plans or intentions to leave Linz. But this was about 95, something along those lines. I just somehow got the opportunity to be in Silicon Valley for 4 months. The company was about 200 people at that time. And one of the most interesting experiences for me was how quickly can a company grow when the market is right and when the opportunity is there, when the business is there. And we became, within 4 years, we became 2,500 people. So we wanted to live in Oxford for a period of time, and so we moved there. And I'm at Sophos responsible for all the products, all the technology, all the innovation. And I'll probably talk a little bit more what that really means. But we are a company today of about 2,000 employees. My team is about 600 worldwide. So I have teams sitting in Germany, in Vancouver, in Sydney, Australia, in Hungary, and we have a great team here in Linz as well. And this is my most beloved team, of course. So I always have a reason to come back to Linz here. We have about 50 engineers here working in Linz, here in UFA, working on building security products for the mobile space. Obviously, you all carry one of those mobile devices. They need security as well. And so we are building those products for those to protect Android, to protect iPhones from the bad guys, and protecting those products is a fun job. Those teams are working on products around the clock. We literally operate 24/7. We have a big research lab. So one of our areas of focus or responsibility is to research the bad guys and research what they're doing. Why are they even there? Why are they creating those viruses? When I remember back 20 years ago, we were dealing with probably about 5 new computer viruses per month. And we felt we were really busy analyzing them, understanding how they work, what they did. We felt this was really a lot of work there. Well, nowadays, today, when I look in our labs, we have this infrastructure that we have globally that analyzes viruses and malware automatically. Nowadays, today, we are tracking about 250,000 every day. This is, of course, there is no human being that can work through that. And so we have large data centers that automate a lot of that research work. But at the same time, the human brain is always best at understanding what's going on. And so we have about 100 researchers around the globe, 24/7, because sometimes the bad guys are hitting on a Sunday. Sometimes they hit on December 24. And we had some big outbreaks a few years ago on December 26.
You were mentioning the bad guys quite many times right now. Who is actually interested in programming a virus?
Yeah.
What's the point behind it?
Great question, great question. Thank you for asking that. It's a really good question. So why are there bad guys? What's the purpose? Well, I have to say, 20 years ago, it was all about proving how good you are. Because at that time, developing a computer virus was really hard to do and required a lot of advanced skills and knowledge there. So it was kind of an ego trip, I guess. It was people proving how good they really are. That was 20 years ago. But then very quickly, it became from proving how good you are, it became financially motivated.
What programming language do you think is best to start with if you want to get into this?
Yeah. So if you are interested in looking into software engineering as your passion, I would probably start out with programming languages that are very widely used today, like Java is a programming language that is just absolutely everywhere in use today. So it's a great programming language for you to get started with. There are some very specific internet-oriented programming languages that you use, like PHP, to build web content. I mean, today there's so many ways of building software. When I started in this industry, it was all about assembly and C programming, which today are still existing, but it has evolved over the time, over those 20 years, into higher level programming languages where you can build things quicker, and you don't have to operate as low at the microprocessor level as it was in the early days. So I would probably say, if you're interested in that area, take a close look at Java as a start for yourself. And I think one thing to keep in mind as well is the technology aspects are absolutely critical and important if you want to become a software engineer. Think also about all this kind of surrounding possibilities that you have and the surrounding opportunities around being part of a software team and a software company. We are working very team-oriented. As I was saying, within our teams, there is software engineers that do a really great job at building software. There is QA or quality assurance engineers that do the testing of the software and finding bugs. There is teams that do the documentation and many other things there. So this is really a teamwork effort. And if you are interested in programming, I can tell you that the computer science here in Linz is very good. I'm very happy about what I learned there.
Would you say that it's more a job for men?
Really good question. We have in this current company, I think we have about 25-27% women. We are intending to grow the split to make the population of women higher. I wouldn't say it's necessarily predisposed, but historically I think that's probably what it has been. But if I look at the efforts that are being done at universities and other places, even at universities starting computer science, it starts to get much more balanced there. But historically it has been, I mean, looking back 20 years, it was probably 10% women in that industry. And I think the right thing would be a really good mix. As I was saying before, it's not just about being just purely the best hardcore techie. It's also about the ability to innovate and be creative. And there's no distinction of men and women. It just depends on you individually what you're good at and what you prefer to do.